Hey guys, BlackWolf066 here, and today I'm building another base game home. Now, I didn't limit myself with the budget this time around, so it is up there in the 100K marker. But for those who don't own the packs, I figured the more base game homes, the better. So anyway, when I had originally started to plan out what I should build, I kind of had an outdoorsy sim in mind, but the longer I thought about it, the longer that the image kind of turned into an older couple, like a retired couple, maybe a couple who had decided to downsize from their larger home, maybe because their children and grandchildren had all grown up and maybe they don't visit them as often or stay the nights as often, so they don't need all that space. Um, so I still wanted that outdoorsy aspect when I had thought them up. So that's the reason why with this build, you'll see later, I made a nice lavish garden and stuff. So I based this cottage around that overall theme. So like the colors and the styles are going to be more earthy tone, somewhat on the rustic side. I'm hopefully I did it justice. um, so anyway, like I said, I kept the original idea of the outdoorsy sim by giving the couple that type of personality. Um, so, like, instead of traveling around the world or going on cruises or stuff like that in their retirement, I thought perhaps maybe their hobbies involved going on hikes or long camping trips and making their home a paradise by expanding their garden and stuff. I even kind of thought that maybe earlier on in their years, they might have been more hands-on people. Um, so I kind of like had this little background story for them, even though I never made them. But I figured maybe because they were more hands-on people, they might have built the gazebo by them by themselves to overlook their hard work and watch the sunrises or sunsets and stuff like that, or just to people watch the neighborhood. You never know. Um, but I really did have a lot of fun building this home, especially when it came to doing the outside. Every time I build in The Sims, I always get a little excited when it comes to doing the landscaping, and I find it so funny because I hate gardening in real life. I'm not an outdoorsy person, and I find it funny that I always make my Sims something that I'm not. I mean, I am creative, or I hope I am. Um, and I do like music, I do like art and stuff like that, so I do base them off of that. But I'm not an outdoorsy person. I do not like hiking. I do not like bugs. I do not like spiders. I am terrified of them. Give me a rat, give me a snake, give me a mouse, but do not give me a bug. Um, but yeah, I mean, like, I find it so funny that the landscaping in here is the most enjoyable out of everything because in real life, again, I don't like bugs. Plus, I can never seem to keep anything alive for longer than a week. Oh, real quick, just as you're seeing here, I was struggling with that bay window. At the end, you will see that I do kind of shift that one room to instead of a um, like a six square, it ends up being like a five square. So then that way, that bay window ends up becoming more centered in that room. So you do lose space inside the house and you gain more space with the front porch. But I mean, if you're making this for a couple, like for an older couple, or even just a couple in general who loves the outdoors, I didn't think that was going to be a bad thing. And a lot of people seem to like the tiny homes nowadays. So there you go, you get a tinier home. um, but anyway, going back to the landscaping. Yeah, I can never keep anything alive for longer than a week. My mom has the green thumb, not me. She's usually good at all that. But but I guess that's the reason why I like it more in here, because I can do whatever I want without getting dirty or worrying about the bugs crawling on my arms or flying at my face like they like to do for some very odd reason. Um, Also, towards the end of this, as you see, um, the screenshots don't end up matching the final result of the actual video. The backstory behind that was I had recorded this once before, or I thought I had recorded, but apparently it didn't record. So I was so mad. It was late at night. I had just gotten home from work and I figured, you know what? I'm going to record something before I go to bed and then I can always edit it tomorrow. Well, I think the first time around I had spent 2 hours building, and it's still similar to this. I actually think the second time around ended up looking a lot better. But when I was all was said and done, when I went to finally go and look at the video just to make sure it was there, it wasn't there. I looked all over my computer, maybe thinking I had saved it into a different folder. No, it hadn't even recorded anything. I was so mad. But I was so close and I had the idea in my head and I was like, all right, fine, I'll just stay up even longer and do this. So I did, and I made sure it worked. And so this is the ending result. However, because it was late by the time I finished the second recording, I didn't go back to test everything out. I was going to just do that in the morning. So come morning, I go back and I start testing and I'm looking at the house and I'm like, yeah, there could be some definite changes here. So I'm not quite sure if the losing of the home space and adding to the front porch space was in this video or not, but I know I changed that afterwards, I think. Um, I changed the roofing a little bit. I added windows to the attic space just to give more detail to the outside of the home because I felt like those peaks were just too blank. Um, I did add a I added a garden to the what would it be? The left corner of the front house, as well as a fountain, because I felt like that area was just too much negative space. And again, if these were supposed to be outdoorsy Sims, I figured there would be more garden stuff. So then I ended up just adding more garden stuff. Um, and then I did go through and I did test everything out. Everything should be working. You can even get to the gazebo and you can sit on the bench. Nothing's blocking that, so that should work. Their debug was used. You'll see that when I start doing the kitchen inside, because I like clutter, even though I didn't really make the rest of the house cluttered. I was more focused on the outside of this home. I figured because maybe they had downsized, they didn't have as much clutter to take with them when they downsized. So that was my excuse for that. The radio does work. I don't think you can dance to it because I did try and have her dance to it, and I don't think it worked. I don't know if it's because there's no space. Marlon, what are you doing? I didn't know if there wasn't any space for it, or if it's just because it's floating they can't really dance to it, because the radio doesn't actually sit on the fireplace mantle. I just had to kind of cheat that in there. So also when you're placing it, I don't know if that gets skewed. I don't even know if you were to turn on move objects beforehand, if that helps that. But if it ends up not being there when you place this, you can always just kind of add it in wherever else in the house if you want. You can put it on the coffee table or something. But But anyway, like I said, that I know works. It turns on, you can hear music and stuff like that. I just don't think you can dance to it. The bathroom works, the bed works. Oh, because of all the rocks, that's what I was afraid of. I was actually thinking I would have to change all that. But no, my sim got over all of that just fine to get to the garden plots, like to do your gardening stuff. So she got through there just fine. So nothing there needs to be changed. You shouldn't have to do anything to that. I also went back and changed the bushes in the front because when I had tilted the camera a little bit, I had realized that there was a blank space behind the bay window with like those bushes in front of the bay window, I should say. So I did add more bushes to that, and then the bushes surrounding the outside of the home, I realized were clipping into the fence. So I did move them so that way they weren't like clipping and you would see it because that was kind of an eyesore and I didn't realize it at the time because again I was tired and I was just so happy that the second time around actually recorded. And I do have to admit it did turn out a lot better than the first one. So I guess the saying is true. You do it the first time, you do it the second time, you find things to make improvements on. Um, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I really liked how everything turned out. It took, I think, even though this is sped up and it's roughly including the screenshots, it's roughly like 30 minutes or 31 minutes. It did take me roughly an hour and 50 minutes to do this. So I actually think the first recording actually took me longer than 2 hours. I don't even remember because granted, when I had started recording, I think it was like 9-ish, 9:30-ish, because that's when I got home from work. So maybe actually I had stopped recording around 11, 12 the first time. All I know is I didn't go to bed until like 3 in the morning, but it was totally worth it because I do love the ending result of this. And most of the ideas that I would have had probably would have left me had I just given up and then recorded the next day. So I'm glad I didn't I didn't do that. I'm glad I actually just sucked it up and just stayed up and recorded a little bit longer. Um, yeah, I mean, again, I like landscaping, and because this is base game, there's only so many options between the flowers and the bushes and the trees and stuff like that. So so I was limited with having to do same bushes, just different colors and stuff like that, like you see around the gazebo. But I don't know. It was. I thought it was okay. I am excited to. I am gonna do redo my other build, my lofty build, which the link will be in the description along with the download for this one. But the other one I had done was like a base game starter home for a single sim, and I did want to go back and redo it. I was hoping maybe there would have been suggestions of like maybe doing a stuff pack for it or something like that, but my friends kind of said just do whatever I think like would be whatever I think would be cool for it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I could always do a theme pack if anybody's interested, so I can continue to just redo it and redo it if that's what you guys want to see. But I think the next bit home that I do, I'm definitely gonna go back and remodel that one the way I want because it's a lofty home. I was kind of unhappy with some of the lighting that I had used, but granted, I only had a set budget, and so that was all I could do. But I do want to go back and make a backyard. I do want to do more landscaping to the front yard and even around the sides and stuff like that, and to kind of make it look more realistic by adding like the outside touches like I did here with the AC vent and stuff. Um, and I do want to add like a chandelier to the open area beside the stairs, just to give the kitchen and the dining area a little more lighting, so I don't have to use those wall lights that I used. So so yeah, that's what I'm definitely gonna to do. I'm just gonna go behind and just totally redo it the way I want to do it with no budget. I'm just gonna use all the stuff I want and all the money I have, so it doesn't matter. Um, oh, I do have to admit, um, I kind of wish, like, with the base game starter, like, I mean, not starter, just, oh my God, I'm fumbling with my words. Um, no, like, what I meant to say, like, with the base game in general, I kind of wish that there was more flowers and more bushes and stuff like that. I mean, I know I have all the packs, so I really shouldn't be complaining, but, like, for somebody who doesn't own the packs and then to be limited with just what there is now, I can see the frustration. Oh, look, I just adjusted that window that I didn't realize. Good on me. Good on past me. Um, but yeah, it's just it's kind of sad because then if you continue to do base game, you're kind of limited to the same items over and over and over and over again. So it would be nice to have a little bit of a wider range. Um, but yeah. Also, I know I could have used different lighting in this, but I kind of liked these lights because they kind of reminded me the Queen of Botched Words, guys, remember this. Um, but they kind of reminded me of my grandmother's house, because like she had that old lighting fixture and stuff like that, and I was just kind of thinking that this wasn't a new home. This was kind of like an old home, and maybe they had just remodeled it slightly, but they didn't really change a lot because they did kind of like the theme to it. So maybe they just did some painting and then the landscaping outside. Um, but yeah, that was kind of the reason why I chose that lighting. Sorry, kind of had a mind fart there for a second. I know that there was more of those like country lights, like the industrial slash country chandeliers that I could have used for like the rustic feel, but I did like those little chandeliers that I used because it does, it reminds me of an older home because they're just like older light fixtures. Um, so that was my reasoning for using it. Yeah, so you'll see here that I am using debug. Um, Again, because I like kitchen clutter. There's just not enough kitchen clutter to satisfy my needs. I don't think there'll ever be enough kitchen clutter to satisfy my needs. Um, but yeah, I think this is the most cluttered spot in the house. And in reality, it's not cluttered enough to my standards. But again, I had that older couple in mind, and I didn't think that they would have brought a lot of stuff with them when they had moved. So, I mean, usually when you downsize a home, you don't need all of that stuff. Um, so yeah, I mean, like this older couple that I have in mind, they're not old enough to be put in a retirement home yet, type of thing. Like, I still imagine them to be like maybe mid to late 60s. So they're still like I don't know, they're still up there. Maybe late 60s to like early 70s. So they're still up there, but they're not ready to move to a retirement home. They still kind of want their space and their peace and stuff like that. Oh yeah, that chair is gone. Like I said, you lose out on that extra square of footage in this living room area, and you kind of gain more space in the entry hall. Oh, also, I apparently was having a lot of issues with the ignore, and then I realized I kept using the S at the entitlements. I was like, oh, oops. But yeah, you do lose that extra 2 squares in the living room. I do think I put a bookcase in there though. I do try and fit a bookcase in there for those who want it. But you lose out on that chair, on that extra seating. So I think it's only just a 5-seater. So I mean, like they could still have people come, like their family and their grandchildren come over and stay. They just might not be able to spend the night. I was kind of thinking that maybe they had moved to be closer to their children, so then that way they wouldn't have to, and then that way they could just downsize. Because the house I had in mind was kind of like a nice home, like a nice 4 or 5 bedroom home when I was putting this in mind. Like maybe they have like 5 children, who knows? Again, it's a non-existent couple because I never created them. I still have my sim that I created out there that I use for a lot of my builds just to test everything out when I finish it. So, um, but yeah. Oh, also, I would like to see. I don't know. I have an issue with the paintings. I always feel like there's never enough like wall decoration for paintings and stuff like that. I I I know I could download custom content. I just don't like to. um, I did that once before, and then I can remember my Sims 3 game crashing when I had done that, and then it was just so tedious and so like I don't know. It dissuaded me from doing it. I I know I had a lot, and that was probably my number one fault to do that. But having to go back and take everything out and then slowly put everything in and see what had caused the crash was just very tedious. And ever since then, I refuse to use custom content. I do have a few mods that I use, but I think there's only like two that I use. So if something happens, I can easily take them out and figure out which is which. So figure out which one is causing the crash or if it's them in general. So it makes it easier. Yeah. So but but yeah, that's why I'm excited for each pack, each stuff pack that comes out, because then I get more and more stuff that I can play with. Um, so, yeah. They need to have more bathroom mats too, and they need to have welcoming mats for outside. Um, that's something I would like to see. I think that would be so cool to have like different welcome mats for your front door. You'll see at the end that I do kind of just improvise by just having one of the standard two-spaced rugs. And I think I did that in like a beigey tone just to kind of stick with the earth tones. But it would be so cool to have more outdoor stuff. Like, just to have like the welcoming mat, because that would be a nice little touch for a home. I mean, I'm sure there's the custom content rugs that I could download, but I don't want to do it. I want to see it in the actual game. um, but yeah, there's other things that I would like to see for outside. I like landscaping out of anything else. So I would like to see more outdoor stuff that a sim could do. I am happy with the slip and slide. I thought that was a nice touch with the one pack, and I liked the bird feeders and stuff like that. I don't use it in here because again, this is a base game, so you can't use that stuff. But I don't know. There's just like I feel like there just needs to be more outdoor stuff to kind of make a house a home. Because again, I like homely. I like lived in and stuff like that. So I mean, I was happy when they did the AC units and stuff like that. That's a definite nice touch for the base game. But I didn't realize that the rain gutters, or not rain gutters, but like the draining that you put on the side of the house is not actually a base game thing, which I think should have, because again, that's a nice little touch to make a home look more realistic. So I was kind of shocked that that wasn't a base game. Because I actually think I was kind of looking for it at first, and then I realized I wasn't under the base game tag anymore, so I had to put that in, and then I realized it wasn't there. So, but yeah, I'm happy that the hose is there though, because that's again a nice touch, especially for gardening sims. Makes it look more realistic that they have the garden hose to like water their garden and stuff. So yeah, I'm kind of like just doing some last minute touches here and there just to kind of see what all I should change. There's a kitchen bin as well as the outdoor bin that you see here. Um, and then I think I end up going through with the the landscaping for outside of the fence as you see here. And again, you'll probably notice as I'm turning around a lot that you'll see that they are clipping through the fence, but I promise that they have been adjusted. Because yeah, I see, like you can see it right in the background over there. They're all clipping through the fence. So again, they have been adjusted. I'm just hoping that when you place it down, that because they are outside of the lot limit, I'm just really hoping that they don't get deleted. Um, but I think it should be fine. That's the only thing that I didn't test out, is to see what disappears when you do end up placing it. I know usually debug always disappears when you place a lot with debug items. That's never, I don't think that'll ever change, so that's why I was giving the warning earlier. So yeah, the screenshot should be here soon. And again, you'll see all the changes. Yeah, you see, I kind of beved the roof a little bit and added the windows to the attic, as you'll see. And then you'll see that the fountain garden was there too. Yeah, so you get more space in the porch. There's the little office nook. See the one chair is gone. And then there's the other bookcase, so I did add a bookcase. But I thought it looked better. It made the bay window more symmetrical, or just, I don't know, it made it so much better. I was really happy after finishing, just doing the finishing touches to stuff. So anyway, I hope you guys really enjoyed this build. I had a lot of fun, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!